Hey guys, good evening. Thank you for joining me. And as is our tradition, we're waiting for Instagram so that we can go live. And yep, there we go. Hey guys, oh, good evening. Thank you for joining me. Need to take that off mute. That was not good. Guys, I don't know if the audio is not good. Give me 1 second. I just want to check something. If you can let me know in the comments, because I think I need to make that microphone there. There we go. All right. That should be okay. I don't really need any other sound effects. Let's listen to this. Okay, cool. We're good. All right. So, thank you for joining me this evening. And this is a big one. This is an important topic. I think it's such an important topic. Well, it is that I may well, or I will do another book on this. And it's slave mentality. If you read the title and the description, we live our lives sometimes as slaves. I lived my life as a slave to alcohol, a slave to the need to be loved, a slave to the need to be liked, a slave to the need to be accepted and valued. And sorry, guys, that really should have been off. It's one of those evenings. There we go. Listen, working man. A slave to, sure, just it's hard, hey? It's hitting me right in the heart just thinking about it. A slave to be accepted and valued and seen, right? A slave to have someone value me for me, not for what I am, not for the fact that was a thing, that I was a thing to be used by others for whatever they wanted, and that I had no value. I had no value in the situation. I had no real value in this other than just being a thing to be used and discarded. Yeah, they told you this is a big one for me. So I was a slave to alcohol, and what that meant is my entire life revolved around alcohol, and I needed to drink. I needed to drink in order to feel. I needed to drink in order not to feel. I needed to drink in order to be accepted socially. I needed to drink in order not to feel alone. I needed to drink in order to numb the pain that I was feeling so that I could survive through the day. It was that bad and it was that desperate, guys. I literally could not make it through the day without numbing my pain and my trauma. I was a slave. Now, the problem with being a slave, because there was no difference between my being a slave to alcohol or my being a slave to needing to be loved or my being a slave to needing to be valued or liked or accepted or seen. A slave mentality in this situation, and I think in every situation, is that of a scarcity of resources, a scarcity of things that we need, a scarcity of things that we crave, a scarcity of, and by the way, guys, that can just be food, water, shelter, those simple things. A slave mentality can be as soon as you get some food, you eat all of it. You don't pack any of it away. You don't prepare for the future. You don't save for the future. If you make some money, you spend it all now because you need that feeling that it gives you in as much abundance as possible. And you don't know when you may get money or food or whatever tomorrow, so you use it all today. You gobble it up as quickly as possible, and that goes against common sense. But if you look at it in the context of love, of value, of nurturing, of acceptance, of grabbing as much as you can as quickly as you can in the moment, such as alcohol in my case, then you can start to understand the slave mentality a little bit more and how it traps us and keeps us from going forward and building a life of value. I drank because I needed to numb the pain, because I couldn't deal with any pain in an hour, in a day, or in a month. I needed to numb it all as much as possible now. It's like, why do we have a one-night stand with people that would be very destructive towards us in ordinary life? Because we crave that love now, immediately. So we're willing to throw everything away that is there to protect ourselves in order to feel that love, that desperate love, that need to be loved, to be liked, to accepted. Why did I go willingly to endure what I endured? Because I desperately wanted the love and the acceptance of my mother. Living as a slave will destroy our lives. Understanding that very simply, living as a slave is getting what we want now, getting what we can now, not what we want, getting what we can get now as much as we can, in as much abundance and as quickly as possible, and not thinking of the future. We're not thinking of the future, we're thinking of fulfilling this need immediately, because we don't believe we have a future. We don't believe we deserve a future. We don't believe we deserve the value that a future brings, right? We don't believe that what we dream and what we actually hope for, that we deserve it. And that's a slave mentality. And I think what I would like from you guys is, every time you feel you're acting as a slave to whatever it is, write that down. Write down whatever it is that you're acting like a slave towards. Is it love? Is it acceptance? Is it material things? Is it food? Is it alcohol? Is it drugs? Is it sex? Whatever it is, write it down and start to unpack why you think you feel that way around it. Why you think you need to be a slave to it, and how it makes you feel, and what are the consequences of it, and what do those consequences make you feel about yourself, and do they reinforce that slave mentality, that slave belief? If we go right back to the first couple of videos that I made, talking about being an adult and being kind, we need to break our slave mentality in order to live as a kind adult towards ourselves. And we can do that by understanding what that slave mentality is for us. What are the things that make us slaves? What are the things that make us a slave? What are we a slave to? Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time. If there are any questions or comments, please let me know, and I will answer them as best I can. Again, I'm committed, should be committed, to putting out a video for you daily, except Saturdays. And sometimes, guys, like this last week, Friday was just chaos. But I will get out as much to you as I can. The intention was to make short and sharp and sweet videos, but this one seemed a little bit long, and I think it's a very, very important topic. It's a vital topic, because ultimately, if we live as a slave, we live as a slave, and no one deserves to live as a slave. I love you guys. Thank you for your time. See you tomorrow. Oos.